What's up, everybody? It's Conversations with Kobe. We're back. You know, it's Wednesday, 8:30. I was off for a little bit. Now I'm back. So today, I had to understand something. I have three kids. I have a beautiful daughter with a beautiful granddaughter, and I have two sons. And my youngest son wants to be the best at everything, but he doesn't understand commitment. But what I realized is that spending time with him, the more I had conversations, not hollering and screaming, not being the rah-rah sports parent, but having the conversations, he starts to get it. And one of the things I understand is that I had to tell him that we're going to do this together. Life isn't going to be hard. Life isn't going to be easy. Life isn't going to be fair, but we're going to work through this together. And hard work definitely will make an impact on how successful you will be. And he didn't understand that in the beginning, but now as he gets older, now as he starts to work and practice, he starts to get it. And what I realized is how important my presence is. Not just me being around, not just me being in my vicinity, not just me talking to him, but my true presence and being focused and locked in on what I need to do with my son and my children, because that still includes my daughter, even though she has her own child, but locked in on what I need to do to help create an impact and help them understand and realize to circumvent the world. Because my job isn't to make them great, but to give them the tools so they can circumvent and operate in this crazy world and be successful, be a productive person, be a person that's safe for them, and also help them do what they want to do. I always tell my son, you're your own man, brother. Don't like it because I like it. Because my one son likes me to play old school hip hop. I swear I listen to my Adidas more times than I listened to it when I was growing up. But, you know, I really understand how my impact is going to be important and is important in their life. So anybody out there, I want you to understand that kids are watching you and your impact is important. And that brings me to my next guest. It's a brother that I've known for a long time. I've seen him operate, and he's always operated as a leader. He's been an alpha. He's been out there doing this thing. He's also put some things together, but now he's created something that I think is very special, the Fathership Foundation. And we're going to talk to my brother, Jonathan Wilson. And I'm bringing him up on my show now. That's my brother right there, brother Jonathan Wilson. Jonathan Wilson Jr. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you, Cole? Good to see you, brother.
Oh,
Thanks for
man, I'm
having me on.
amazing. Life is good. How about you?
Feeling good. Glad I got the second vaccine. I'm cool now.
I know that's right. Did the second one put you down?
No, actually, I had no problems whatsoever.
Oh, man, I
No,
thought I had the flu for 2 days.
no, I was good. First and second one, man. No problems at all.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So, brother, so I want to say this. I'm gonna stop saying brother because I'm gonna give you your flowers. Dr. Wilson, can
Yes.
you please explain to me what the Fathership Foundation is, real quick?
Okay, so the Fathership Foundation is a community-based 501c3. It's a social services organization that whose mission is to increase the amount of um, formally educated or trained work-ready adults. It's a
Dang,
big
that's
it's a big mission, but we have a signature way of addressing workforce development, and that is to empower fathers and strengthen families. So we know that if we strengthen the father, we strengthen the family. So we want to help men get educated and trained and bring those skills and attitudes home. Because we believe that a nation is only as strong as its male population. So we kind of roll with that.
wow, that's dope. I'm gonna come back to that statement in a second, but like, explain to me how you even got to that point. Like little brother Jonathan. How did he get to Dr. Jonathan and then the Fathership Foundation?
Okay, well, I had, we're all a sum total of our experiences. And what I can say is I'm grateful and fortunate to have had some really good mentors and examples in my family and in the community that kind of get guided me in the way that I should go and helped me kind of shape my aspirations. Now, as you know, sir, I did have my time as a knucklehead and rough and tumble person and kind of immersing into, criminal element of our subculture and our community, and then emerging out of it a little bit later than I wanted to. And that's kind of what brought me to the Fathership Foundation. So um, I knew what to do in my life a lot of times, but I just was not doing it. There's a story in the Bible about burying your talents, not using them, something to that effect. And that's kind of like what I was doing, just not using my um, talents, and not having any discipline. And one thing I learned was that you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have equal or uh, a superior amount of discipline, then your talent is just futile. You're just a talented person, and you don't. And then you can look in other industries and every industry and see those people that don't make it. So it was about 2000, I think 2009. Unfortunately, I was incarcerated with a degree, so I was going through a lot of you know just dealing with that. And
Mm-hmm.
I had gotten into a fight, um, couple fights, ended up in the jail of the jail, which is called a hole. So I was in House of Correction on State Road. It's called a Creek before they closed it. And I was in the hole for about, I think, 16 days, a little bit over 2 weeks. And how it works is if you commit an offense in the jail, you go to the hole, you get a hearing on Thursday. So if you get locked up again in jail on a Thursday, you won't go to court or have a hearing until the next Thursday. So I think I got locked up on like a Friday or over the weekend or something like that. So I didn't go to court in the jail court until that um, Thursday. Thursday came, they didn't let me out. So now I'm really stressing. And you want to have some mental issues and get to the bottom of things that you've been screwing up on. Get locked up, and it's just like you've been in a bathroom for in solitary confinement. So I was there on about the 15th, 16th day. I had got a phone call and called my sister and said, "You got to call the jail and tell them they did not give me my hearing. They still got me back here in solitary." So while I was back there, I just did a lot of soul searching, just looking into myself, looking into my mistakes. And, you got a college degree. Why are you here? And then I just started thinking about why are all of us here? What do we all have in common? Like, this is crazy. At the time, I didn't know a whole lot about structural inequality. Structural inequality, structural violence, cultural violence, direct violence. I didn't know any of that, all that philosophy. So I was still trying to figure it out. Like, yo, we're all in here. We're so young, so this is a great squander of human capital. So I had to look no further than my own family and community, immediate community, to see that there was a lack of fatherhood, right? A lack of fathers. Then I asked myself, I said, well, we all have fathers. 100% of people got fathers. We wouldn't be here. But I thought a little deeper and I said, but the fathers are not doing enough. There's not enough action, but there's no word for it. And I came up with the word fathership.
Mm-hmm.
The ship implies action, censorship, partnership with mom, and I just started working with the idea. So I said, well, you know what? There needs to be an agency that addresses black male or urban male problems. There's lots of agencies that I know of for women and single mothers, abused kids, but there's nothing for men. So I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get out of here. I had a skill set to do it. I'm going to do it. Got out. Guess what happened? What do you think happened? I didn't do it. So I just worked on it. It was just in my mind. And then unfortunately, I moved to Delaware after that, um,
Mm-hmm.
and got involved with opening the business there. Got involved doing some participatory action research with a gentleman named Dr. Yasser Payne out of University of Delaware, the professor there. And I got on the research team for the first time and fell in love with formal research. And that's when I decided to go back, get some more education, to try to tailor myself um, to this new expanding of my career as a research scientist. So at the time, I had a small salon in South Wilmington, and I had been doing some research there in that community in South Bridge. Opened up a shop there, and unfortunately, man, a month later, I got shot in the chest and paralyzed. Yep. So it was at that point I did more soul searching. When it happened, gentleman came in on Sunday morning. I was just cleaning up, actually doing some mentoring. I wasn't cutting hair. It was a Sunday morning in a snowstorm, and I was mopping up because we had a busy Saturday night, and I just left hair and stuff all over. I was just so tired and went home. So I came back that Sunday morning, planned on cleaning up and leaving. Somebody came in and tried to rob the salon. So when I think back, hindsight is 2020. I should just gave up the money, but my personality and my attitude at the time wasn't going to happen. So that's the whoop. Okay, okay. We had a little interruption there. We good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay, so we started fighting and he started shooting in the building and I got hit in the chest right above my nipple, lodged in my back, T10 vertebrae. I couldn't hear myself speak and I fell to the ground and started screaming, yelling at him to tell him, you just shot me, you just shot me, like you just killed me, you just killed me. Just going through that and asked him to take me outside. Took me outside. Ambulance got me. He runs off. And I woke up, bunch of tubes in me and stuff like that. And it was at that time, unfortunately, that I said I need to do the Fathership Foundation. So I kept the shop open for another year. And I just kind of soaked in everything around me and said, what kind of programs am I going to develop? What am I going to do? What am I going to address? I have the cultural competence. I have the lived experience. What can I do to stop this stuff? I've just been the victim of what I need to stop. You know what I'm saying? So also one thing I remember telling God while I was on the ground was that I wasn't finished. He said, okay, I'm gonna bless you. Make sure you get finished. So he let me live, man. So um, I have to, you won't, I'll just go the opposite way of all darkness,
Yeah.
right? Because he kept his promise to me and I'm keeping my promise to him. Went back, went in, me, entrepreneur side of things. I got a business plan before I registered to take the classes. So when I was working on my master's, I already had a business plan for the Fathership Foundation. I knew that, so my master's was in human services administration. I know I needed that skill set. Passion wasn't going to be enough. So I said, I need to get a degree in this stuff so that I know what I'm doing and not out here, hitting and missing. So when I got finished with that, I launched the organization right after graduation. I really was blessed by the Lord. I got the NAACP award that year, Leadership Pioneer Award, all kinds of stuff that 2013, 14, 15. And then I got into my doctoral program, and that kind of slowed me down, but I'll say it was worth it. I got in and got out. So while I was there, I piloted the programs, the three actually. There's one, which is I want to address three main problems in our community. One that I was
Mm-hmm.
familiar with was gentlemen coming and going, recidivism in prison, jail, county, all ages. I want to address that. Um, Also, I want to address those gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen that were
Mm-hmm.
dropping out of school. And then I also, through my research of the educational disparities in the United States, national disparities, I wanted to address that the most effective way that I could, and include fathers in that because the research says when dads are involved.
Oh, the brother cut off. Something happened. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna tell you, like his program is really dope. It talks about fatherhood and how making fathers employable, it also connects to community. And I was going to ask him, because a lot of times when you say strong fathers mean strong communities, women get it like it's almost a patriarchal thing. But what you have to see is that union, that yin and the yang. When you got strong fathers, and you already have strong women, because a lot of times fathers are taken out of the community. But when you have strong fathers in the community with strong mothers, you know, that yin and that yang, that balance that comes along is essential. And as he adds, you don't get to talk about the employability of these people. We have to have some way for them to move on, to get jobs and to stay. You know, it's not just enough to get a job, but to be employable and to keep a job and to start being employable, to make careers and to change the trajectory. Because when you increase your employability, you improve your trajectory. And that's what his foundation, a lot of it was worked on. I'm sorry, I don't want to like, because when he'll tell you, it's like so many great things that he has going on. Like that Fathership Foundation is crazy about what its really mission is, what it has. And it's funny, like I've known Dr. Wilson, and I'm gonna keep calling him doctor because I got to give that brother his roses. He's done a lot. He's come through a lot in his own way, you know, and to see these things that he's developed, he's created, he's focused on is amazing, man. And you know, when we talk about like employability, connecting fathers, he tries to bring fathers in the classroom so they can be connected to the education. Because a lot of times, even when I first started being a father, like the education was left up to the mother. I'm gonna go to work, you focus on school. But I realized, especially with having young males, that my influence, my connection is extremely important. So, you know, like you got to check it out, man. That Fathership Foundation is something else. And he's working on a lot and he's doing some great things. And you notice he not only overcame himself, he talked about being incarcerated, his other life, but he overcame himself. Then he overcame adversity from somebody else, the same thing he wants to continue to stop or eliminate. Like this brother and this foundation is amazing, man. Please check it out. The Fathership Foundation, fathershipfoundation.com. I know I should type it in, but I'm doing too much talking. It's hard to connect to it and get it typed in. I'll try to get it to you later on in the notes, but you got to check it in. I'm here. We just having a moment. Hopefully he'll come back. If you got a question for me and the Fathership Foundation, or you got a question for me about fatherhood or anything, let me know. Type it in the chat. Let me see what's going on. Who's listening? I know we got a couple people tuned in. Let me know what's going on. So give me a question. Throw something at me. We live right now, and I'm open. I'm an open book. So let's keep it going. I got 10 minutes of the show, and that's how I'm gonna keep it 30 minutes. What we got? Somebody got a question for me? Well, nobody got a question right this moment, but I'm gonna keep it going. So, you know, like even when talking about my son, expressing to him that life isn't fair. We have a lot of awards, we have a lot of things we deal with, giving everybody a cookie and all these other things, but life is not fair. Once your child is able to deal with that, his progression, I guarantee you, will be faster because he won't always be looking for everything to be fair. He knows he has to work hard and everything won't be easy. Talent isn't enough. And I think that's what the brother was expressing also. Talent isn't enough. We need a hard work ethic. You know, you need to understand that life isn't fair and we need to move forward. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff that goes on with all of that. And, you know, fatherhood is important. I know I wasn't prepared to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Fatherhood is one of the most important things besides motherhood. And I believe that balance helps balance a kid, son or daughter, and having the appropriate balance, having a positive relationship. Like I have to say, not only is my children's mothers, amazing women, right? But they were amazing mothers. And now, like, as my kids have a BOMO, and they lovingly call her BOMO, She's amazing. And you can see the relationships. And real people have those kind of relationships. I've been blessed enough to have my children's mother and my wife have a great relationship. And to see that evolve and to see those things evolve and how that affects the kids with nurturing and tough love. And all these things seem to come about. And so I try to manage that the best I can, because now I realize, without, like, my dad wasn't as active, not because he didn't care or anything. He was hundreds of miles away. And so because of that, I had to work on some things myself. And we're gonna bring my brother back. He came back.
Yeah, man.
What's up, brother?
I'm sorry I had to take a break. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what. Yeah, so where were we at? Yeah, man. So God bless me, man. I had a close brush with death. I learned a lot through that experience. I put everything I had, everything into this organization, planning it, got the business plan, graduated, launched the programs, and it's been a struggle, but it's been well worth it, man. It doesn't pay me a whole lot of money, but I get paid a lot. And with every smile that I see, every family that I touch, man, every family that I reunite with dad.
I hear that. So we talked about, like, I noticed one thing is like employability. Explain why that's an important factor into all of this.
Because let's take it back. All right. What I do is workforce development. What we have to understand is that there are a lot of moving parts in society. There's an economy, there's an ecology, and all these moving parts work together for the collective to survive. And when things are not in place based on what should be happening in the system, certain people fall by the wayside. So generally, you go to high school, you get a diploma, you go from there to college, or maybe to get a trade or learn how to do something. You get married, at some point, or continue school, buy a home, get some credit, and live happily ever after. But that's not the reality for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. So one big part of the system is your workforce. So those people that are matriculating through elementary, middle school, high school, going into college, those are the workforce. So we have to make capital investments at every stage of that development so that they're a great workforce when it's all said and done. So when they graduate from high school, they're going to college or to where they want to, whatever industry they want to go in. But that doesn't always happen because there's a lot of distractions and problems before 12th grade. And so what do those problems and distractions cause? Dropout. If you drop out, we talked about employability, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have a diploma, you are confined to the non-skilled labor sector. So you have the non-skilled labor sector and the skilled labor sector. You have to have formal education or training to get into the
skilled labor sector.
Skilled labor sector. If not, you're confined. So what happens if scientifically, if you look at from a balcony perspective, you see people that don't get diplomas, right? Who doesn't? There's variance in the ages. So you have in African American communities or poor communities, you have people that can't make a livable wage because they're stuck in the non-skilled labor sector. What does that force you to do? A lot of income crime. So a lot of the crime that we see mostly in African American communities, other than gangsterism and that kind of the gangster stuff, but the main crimes are income crimes. Selling drugs for what? To pay bills. Because what? You're stuck in a non-skilled labor sector.
Dang.
So
you said a lot, man. You said, not to interrupt you, brother, but that says a lot, like, about how things are structural, or easily repeatable. Because if you're constantly in a deficit, then you're constantly trying to work out of it. And you're trying to find any access or any avenue or any route to get out of that sector. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. I
agree with you. So what the Fathership Foundation does is it takes a critical look at different
elements of workforce and workforce development and working labor. And we put together programs, community education programs that enlighten people, and but most of all, that empower them. So one program that meets that need is called the Community Academics Reentry Program, CARP.
Mm.
And what that does is it says, okay, if you dropped out, if you had a truancy issue, we looked at everything we could think of that causes people to get out of school. And we said we need to address those things. So if you got suspended too much, they put you out, alternative school, all those kind of things, you can come to us and we'll get you back into formal education, right? Okay. And then if not, well, if you don't need that, say you just dropped out and it's done, you can't get back into school. You're 21 now, 22, right? Maybe 19. You just don't. You're not going to fit back in the classroom setting. It's been too many years, right? We prepare you for the GED, so that because we know that GED is the first step. You're gonna need that to get into the skilled labor sector. You're gonna need at least that, right? Because you need that as a prerequisite to go to community, to go to four-year university. So you're almost doomed without that high school diploma. So we knew that we had to concentrate on that. So we do that.
Hold on. So that's interesting because that GED, like when we were growing up, anybody who got a GED, we talked about them.
Yep.
But we realize now that what you're saying, it makes sense because getting that baseline approval, I use this approval.
Yeah.
Now they can. That's why community colleges are so important. And if you have a strong community college, it can take one part of your community and raise them into the skilled labor sector.
Exactly.
Well, I know I'm interrupting you. I apologize, brother. But now I'm having these revelations like that I've never even considered because, growing up in high school, the homie that got the GED, you always looked at him sideways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now
it wasn't looked at with the same status as a diploma, but it does the same thing and function. So on that note, the research says that a person with a high school diploma or a GED will make $1 million more during their lifetime than a person without it. So it's our goal as an agency, thinking in terms of making capital investments in our workforce, that we would like to, before it's all said and done, I mean, my kids keep going, but we want to make sure and support 1,000 people getting their GED, and we will have invested $1 billion into our community with 1,000 GED. That's $1 billion based on the research. If you don't have it, that's $1 million you don't work. You won't have in your lifetime. So we can get 1,000 people GEDs. We've invested $1 billion into their lives.
But that's what you said, even like, and that's kind of that long game that people talk about. And that's that investment in the community, because now what you're changing for me personally was a perspective or a viewpoint. And I'm going to be honest, like I had my mom got a GED, my sister got a GED, and now, but I can see that's like a gateway. If it's not the high school diploma, your GED is a gateway into the skilled workforce, which changes the perspective and how those things operate.
One thing I saw, man, when I had my shop in the South Bridge community, it's a loving community. Goes back generations. For African Americans, one of the first African American communities in state of Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. I was cutting hair there, and people would come. Nobody had a GED. It was because, or diploma. It was because their high school dropout rate was obscene for like 17 years. Yeah. So think about it. The people didn't graduate. They didn't have any money to move anywhere. They did everything that everyone else did. They got married, had children, but they were confined to the non-skilled labor sector. But people will find a way. But think about the burden that is on the community. When we started doing a GED at a place called Bethel Villa Housing Development in there in the east side of Wilmington, you want to guess who my biggest market was for the GED?
Nah. Who?
Guess who was? What was the average? What was the gender and age of the person that we serviced the most?
Women.
Women.
Latino.
No, it was African American women. 27, 1.2 kids.
Wow. I'm gonna tell you a secret about me. I know we know a little bit, but my first teaching job was on the east side at Marion T Academy.
But what I'm getting a little feedback on your end. Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's a lot of feed. When you hear it, it's just like static almost.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's a little feed. Yeah.
Is that better?
Nope.
No, I don't know what it is now because I got on headphones. But
yeah. Oh,
I worked at Marion T Academy by Gander Hill.
That's what I'm gonna do. Let me turn my Bluetooth. Hold on. That might do it. Sheesh. Now I hate to. Can you hear me?
Yep. Is it better now?
Oh man, it's perfect.
So I worked at Marion T Academy at Gander Hill, my first teaching job.
Yeah, that's a little stop, man. I was in there a little time. Yeah,
and I was at Thomas Edison.
Okay, yeah, great principal over there.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it there.
The basketball guy. Okay. All right.
I'll leave it there. But what you're telling me, and I understand, because when you talk about the east side of Wilmington, people, like, I'm gonna give you my perspective before I get into it. When I was going in Wilmington, right, before I got my job in Delaware, I was like, Delaware got black people, right? And then I started learning the rich history of black people in Delaware.
Awesome history.
So did you know? So I'm gonna say this. I know where you went to college. The first historically black university, Cheney University, right? But do you know where we used to go between Route 1 and 202? Huh?
Route 1 and 202. Oh,
yeah. That right there was where they had the Battle of Brandywine, with one of the largest groups of African American troops fought during the Civil War. And they traveled, where they settled was in Newcastle, Delaware.
Hold on. Yeah, I work for I'm familiar with that. I work for the Delaware Historical Society.
Okay.
In the Delaware History Museum. So I actually was a tour guide for the Mitchell Center. So the Mitchell Center the Mitchell Center is the central repository for all things African American in the state. Heritage, history, culture. Yeah, it's dope, man. The exhibit is an excellent exhibit. It's called.
We got to talk and do some documentaries together, brother.
Definitely, man. Definitely. One thing I learned about. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting because, like, honestly, I'm young. I got to watch you grow. Like, coming in at Cheney and then sitting there, you were already there, watching you evolve, sitting and look at all these things, and to see where you are now, it's like dope. like as you say, every time you say something, every time you add a little, like, you don't realize it because it's normal to you, but every time you add a check or a tick mark in that win category, I'm like, dope. Because like you said, I've seen you evolve. And you've always been a leader. You've always been an entrepreneur. I can sit and list the things I've sat and watched. Also, you've always been, to me, a stand-up dude. Regardless of all the other stuff, I've never seen your integrity as far as people, individuals. has always been on point. So now as I watch you and you keep, I work for this, I do this. To you it's normal. To me it's like, my man, I know this guy. So it's real to me. Like
I
you
appreciate
laughing,
it,
but it's
man.
real because I've seen you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember the nickname. We ain't getting into
Thank you.
that. You know what I'm saying? I know what I knew
We
you
can do
as in
that.
college.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now
Mm-hmm.
I see you as Dr. Jonathan
Those
Wilson.
were the dear days.
Yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud to see that because what that shows is like
Mm-hmm.
what you're talking about, not only what you're trying to prevent, you missed it when you were out. I was talking about like not only did you overcome yourself, your situation, all these other things,
Mm-hmm.
now the second part of your life is you overcame adversity in a different sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, like that's what I think when we talk about your story. And I was like, when you went out, I was talking about the dope stuff because I understand we
Mm-hmm.
talk about bringing fathers in, getting them in the classroom, connecting them to education, connecting them to families, all those other
Mm-hmm.
things. But like, people need to be motivated by you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like the transition from who you were at 19 or 20 to who you are now as an adult doctor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and where you came from and what you came through. You know what I'm saying? Even sitting here now, like you told your story, you're very like what's the word I want to put to it? Pass You're very passe about your story. Like, yeah, I was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you don't get into the details. I went through this, I was in jail, I went through the whole, then I got shot, but now I'm here, right? To you, that's passe. Brother,
Right. Right.
right? It's a lot of cats out there like you that don't see, like that don't even envision going to college. That don't even
Mm-hmm.
envision, like once they go to jail, don't even envision a change in their life, right? I can
Yeah.
say I've never been in jail,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm afraid to go to jail. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and talk tough. I'm afraid. Like 90% of my decisions about jail is fear. Right? But when I sit back and I sit back and we talk about that, right, brother? And then to see you become a
Mm-hmm.
steward of your community. And I know the cats, like when you talk about the cats that you interact with on a daily, I know them cats. I've been around them. I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely been uncomfortable in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of situations with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to see
Yeah.
you and to say
Mm-hmm.
doctor behind your neck, and it ain't like a cheap doctor. It ain't like you mailed it in. It ain't got something. You know.
No, they bust my behind. Let me tell you that. I'm gonna say this, brother. I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from the heart. I've been shot 4 different times. 5 bullets in my body. I've overcome some adversities at the university, getting kicked out, coming back, finishing up at 30, all that kind of stuff. Running for student government, all that stuff, undergrad stuff. Got shot. God gave me a chance. Overcame the wheelchair. I had to learn how to use it, learn how to use my body different ways, and try to overcome that the best I could. But the doctoral thing was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It's the most challenging thing ever. There's a reason why only 2% of the population have those degrees. And it was a I'm not in a fraternity, but it was a hazing, right? It was, but when they get through with you, you're a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing about it is they it's tough from the application, all of it, and I actually thought I was gonna get. Let me tell you this quick story. So I finished the master's program. I'm on a wave. I'm on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm feeling good. I'm overcoming this wheelchair thing. I'm about to get my master's. Da, da, da. It's really big for me. And then it's like everything's going right. I applied for the doctoral thing. I got an A average or damn near A average, and I just apply online. Don't put much into it. They told me, excuse me, sir, you have your credentials and this and that, but unfortunately, we have chosen who we're going to choose. That thing hurt me. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, dang, man, looks like I'm not going to be a doctor, man. Like, what, do I have it or what? I didn't. So I was like, nah. That's when the Cheney came out of me. Like, I'm not taking no for an answer. And I just reached back. I'm not taking no for an answer, right? I get prepared. I called one of my mentors. I said, yo, man, I got the denial letter, man. He said, oh, no, that's the people that they're not giving money to. Reapply. Put your package in again. So I did it again. When I tell you, I went hard on that application. I let them know everything I was doing. I did not take it for granted. So I didn't hear anything back. And I got a email that said Dr. Swarovski wants to see you immediately. So I said it had to be good news because they already denied me. You see what I'm saying? So they called me in. It's like, you're in. Listen, that was a mistake on the denial. You're in. So I was like, whoa. So in my room, I have the denial letter, the acceptance letter, and the doctorate. And that motivates me every day when I get up in the morning.
Wow. And like, I add that to that because we got to get ready to end the show shortly. But I had to add that because, brother, I don't talk to you often. We see each other in passing. It's always respect. You always respected me, period. And I know I haven't told you that I admired you from a distance. You know what I mean? But I've watched you. I'm not even going to. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Since you put it out, I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but you told people you were, and your younger age wayward. You don't know how many times I got called into the security because they thought I was you. Seriously, I'm giving you my word. So one time I was doing something I wasn't supposed to do, and some people ran into my room. You know Cheney at the time. I went to security. They said, ain't you such and such and such and such? And I was like, no. And then they sit and grilled me. They pulled me in a room. You remember the large security guard. So I'm not going to get too far into it. I just want you to know that. But I've always respected you.
Yeah.
And I've always had a positive relationship with you. And to see your development and growth and to see what you're building is phenomenal. Everybody, you got to check out the Fathership Foundation and to understand what he's trying to build. This is
on
something.
Instagram, they can get us. Instagram is there. At Fathership Foundation. Facebook, we there. And we got a 2-on-2 tournament coming up the weekend after July 4th for fathers and children. It's going to be a banger. Right in the middle of the hood, 49th and Chester Avenue at King Session Recreation Center. I'm on the advisory council with me, Miss Connie, Andre Cruz. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be community day. And I'm going to have your local politicians there, the senator or the councilman of the area. Everybody's going to be there except the governor and the mayor. Trust me.
All right. Well, look, we got to connect after this because we got work to do.
Yes.
And I'm here for you to help build whatever you're putting together.
That's right, man. Thank you so much, man. See you.
Hey, this is easy work. This ain't about nothing. My mama said one thing to me, right? I'm gonna tell you one thing. Not my mama, my great grandmother. We called her Mama Lil, Cindy B. Travitt. She said, if you are not going out of your way, it ain't a favor. Right? This ain't out my way, brother. This ain't out my way. Listen, everybody. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm closing off. I close off always with my little ads and all that stuff. I'm gonna tell you, check out this brother, the Fathership Foundation, right? And then you got, I'm telling you, brother, you got to get some Melanin Magic shea butter. Like, this thing is the best. Every time my wife puts it on, it's bound chicka wow wow. I'm telling you. Like, that Melanin Magic shea butter smells delicious. But I'm going to say to
I
everybody,
definitely
please
want to get
check out
some
the
from you, brother.
Fathership Foundation. It's contributing to our community. We got a lot going on. Please check it out. This is Conversations with Kobe. Please like us and subscribe on YouTube. We are moving completely to YouTube, and we're going to do that soon. I love you. God bless, and good night.
Good night. Thanks for having me.